live in the UK.
Would you rather do mortgage, buy your mortgage in the UK,
right,
or buy a house in Nigeria where you don't live?
I'd say buy a house in Nigeria first.
Where you don't live.
As a priority, yes. More countries are actually closing up. You've had, in terms of trade protectionist, in terms of immigration, people are going harder and harder on migration. More countries are not friendly to migration, and you're actually also seeing that pattern even in the UK and in other parts of the world. There's an anti-immigration sentiment all over the world at the moment, right? Even in the UK, the UK is not far different. So more countries are actually closing up. So I mean, you really cannot. You can't predict what the next 4 or 5 years is going to be. And my prediction is that it's likely to actually get worse. You're likely to see more right-wing rhetoric over time.
Now, you're advising Nigerians in the diaspora.
Yes.
What would you advise Nigeria government itself to do?
Oh, well, I mean, I think, like I did start by saying government is actually on the right track.
The government is on the right track.
Yeah, you have to consolidate the reforms. You have to consolidate those reforms.
Can you tell me 3 things the government is doing right? If you have been contemplating on how to invest or earn money in this UK, I mean, this podcast is for you. The reason is because we have brought into the studio here a writer, an economist, and a public analyst, Seun Arogbenle, to the Faloh Frequency. Welcome to the Faloh Frequency's web narrative about stories unfiltered. And on today's episode, we'll be digging deep into economic issues, how the Nigerian economy affects you as an immigrant in the UK, and how you can contribute and take advantage of the economic back home. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome in the studio Mr. Seun Arogbenle. Mr. Seun, you're welcome to the podcast, to the show, Faloh Frequency.
Nice to be here.
Can we meet you properly?
Oh, well, my name is Seun Arogbenle. I'm a writer, an author, a political economist, a public relations strategist. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Seun, welcome once again. And I want to go straight to the point why we are here. I know a lot of people confuse savings with investment. Can you clarify in simple terms? Like, what's the difference between savings and investment in simple terms?
Okay, so savings is usually, more emergency like, right? And sometimes savings can be in the form of long-term or short-term. While investments, they provide or produce either returns, dividends, or interest, right? And that's what savings does.
So
that's what investment does. And savings, usually people save towards a goal. People save over time. People save emergency funds. But really, when you save, more often than not, savings do not necessarily bring interest, dividends, or returns.
I like that. That's clear enough in clear terms. Now, I've read much about you, about what you've written about Nigerian economy, everything. I want to ask a question. As an immigrant in the UK, a Nigerian living in the UK, should I be concerned about the Nigerian economy?
No, I mean, at the moment, I don't think you should be concerned. Okay. I think rather we should be excited. At the moment, there are enormous opportunities. The economy has opened up a lot of opportunities, and I quickly take you through where we're coming from, where we are, and what opportunities are available at the moment. So you've actually had a period, I'd say from the 1970s, especially during the oil boom, where the economy, we had massive oil boom from the oil, and the economy went what you call embraced a lot of socialism. Socialism is usually in the forms of subsidies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you have is that in economics, subsidies are usually bad because they lead to what you call inefficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also what you call underinvestment. So two key issues here. You've had subsidies over time because Nigeria, we did feel like we had a lot of money. And then you've also had what you call underinvestment because the economy was and mostly had been badly mismanaged. And I even said, if the Nigerian economy were a business, you wouldn't, at the point, pre-2023, you're not likely to want to put your money on it because it was so badly mismanaged that no investor would want to put their money on it.
So do you think it's better now?
Well, I mean, we are on track, if you ask me, right? So
Really?
yes,
The
absolutely.
Nigerian economy is on track right
Yeah,
now.
it's actually on track. And this is why I would say that. I would say that because some of those subsidies that have actually, that have led to what you call inefficiencies. They've led to what you call dislocation in the economy over time. We've managed to remove those subsidies, right? And from foreign exchange
But I want to ask
subsidy.
you, is there any
for,
better since the subsidy has been removed?
Well, I mean, the economy has opened up, right? It's opened up significantly. Actually, when you even look at it from diaspora, from diaspora perspective, but I'd say that this is what you have at the moment. What you had before was that pre 2023, we had massive subsidies, we had budget deficits, export dipped, we weren't really exporting.
Mr.
It wasn't
Mr.
competitive. Yeah,
This subsidy has been removed.
yeah.
The money, what are we using it for?
No. So when you say removing subsidies,
Mm.
and I think this is one area that we might actually like to clarify,
Mm.
we didn't actually save money from removing subsidies.
What do you
What
do?
we stopped was we stopped borrowing from the future. We actually didn't save money from subsidies. What you actually have, in fact, when you say states now have more money, is actually the differential from the devaluation of the currency. So you've had the naira has gone from $400 to $1,500 to a dollar, right? So actually, current is about 1,300, 1,400. It's actually that differential that's made the difference. So we actually didn't stop, because what you had, before 2023 was that you had a situation where we're actually borrowing from our future. Have you seen that before, where you were essentially borrowing from your future?
Mm.
But I have never seen a situation where a country will be borrowing from their future. So what we did was to stop the hemorrhage, right? We stopped the economy from further decline. And so we didn't actually save money from the
But
future.
I actually want to know how the Nigerian economy is any better. I want to
Yes.
know, honestly.
Right. So in terms of, so you look at economy in terms of macroeconomy and in terms
Okay.
of microeconomy,
Mhm.
right? So the macroeconomic fundamentals that actually guide the economy. You're talking about foreign exchange. So the first thing you look at, foreign exchange. One, foreign exchange is a lot more stable.
Mhm.
Before now, you had what you call a system where we're fixing our foreign exchange. We're actually depleting our foreign reserves. We're depleting what you call foreign reserves to fix. So you had a situation where the foreign exchange was artificially fixed. It wasn't the true value.
Okay.
So essentially, government was depleting our foreign reserves. All the money that we're making, we're now using it to defend. We're defending the naira. So you had dollar at about 200,
But
300.
I like that you said all the money we were making, we were
Yes.
using to defend the naira.
Well, yes,
Now we stop defending the naira. We are now floating the naira.
yes, we're floating.
Now,
Exactly, that's what.
The money that
Yes.
we were using to defend the naira, where is it now?
Yes, I mean now you have foreign reserves has gone to about $50 billion as of February. It's
Okay,
gone
now let's talk
it's
about
15 billion
how.
But do you know what a stronger foreign reserve does? Is that it makes your economy stronger. Did you notice that over the last couple of days, the naira has actually gained, is appreciated?
Now those
It's
are
gone-
not steady.
It's gone. No,
It's not
gone.
steady. It comes
Yes,
down
exactly.
today, tomorrow it goes up.
There's a reason why it's not steady.
Uh-huh.
And the reason is that we still have, and we've got to be honest, we still have what you call a revenue problem. The economy was mismanaged over time. It's going to take some time to fix it, right? But what you have is currently you do have a revenue problem, and that is why you have to diversify the economy, which I do think government is committed to.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
The main essence of this podcast is to
Yeah.
see how we immigrants can
Yeah.
tap into the economy of Nigeria,
Absolutely.
take advantage of whatever is going on in Nigeria.
Yes.
And I just need there to lay a foundation
Yes.
to why anyone should think of investing in Nigeria.
Yes, yes.
Which is what you are trying to defend.
Yes,
Convince us that
yes.
you can actually invest.
Yes,
in,
open up. Yeah.
Good. So
investor confidence.
how do I,
Yes.
as an immigrant,
Yeah.
a Nigerian living in the UK,
Yeah.
take advantage of whatever is happening in Nigeria?
Okay. So the first thing is that at the moment you have what you call the interest rate, right?
Okay.
And also another factor is devaluation. So you have interest rate. Interest rate is currently at 26.5%, right? It's one of the highest in the world. But there's a reason why you have high interest rate. What high interest rate usually, why monetary policies, central banks, why they increase interest rate is usually as a way to bring down inflation, right? And so currently interest rate is about 26.5%. So it's actually good for people who are saving and people who are thinking to invest. And also the devaluation is also, good because as remittances.
So
it's encouraged a lot of remittances.
So excuse me.
Yeah.
If it's good for people who are saving,
Yes. And investing.
is it good for people who are borrowing?
So there's what you call expansion and tightening, right? So you had inflation at a place where it was in the north of about 30%.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expand, without bringing down inflation, right? So what we had to do was to get the economy to a point where it had to bring down inflation to a point that it is manageable. Because don't forget, when interest when what's it called when inflation is really high, it's not good for whatever you earn, because your salary is not likely to take you home. So you have a situation where before you can actually expand or build on the economy, you have to bring down inflation. And that's why you see even in the UK, you talk about single digit inflation, because inflation has a direct impact on mortgage. It has a direct impact on what you buy and how much you buy, and your ability to actually predict even businesses. So what inflation, what we have is that we've been able to manage inflation up down to about 14% at the moment. So now you have interest rate, which is still at 26.5%. So so let's talk about what are the investment instruments at the moment, which might actually encourage anyone. So you have what you call the capital market, right? And you have what you call the money market. Capital market is usually in the form of stocks. Usually, at the major index in Nigeria is called the Nigerian Exchange, which I was very fortunate to be a part of before I came to the UK. And then what you call money market, is usually in the form of treasury bills. So you can actually invest. You can invest in stocks, and they're known as portfolio investments, right? That's why you hear about FPIs and you hear FDIs. They are two different things, right? So FDIs are you are directly involved in the businesses. So if it is coming from a foreigner, so it's called a foreign direct investment. But FPIs are called, foreign portfolio investment. So portfolio investments are usually in the form of equities, right? And now what stocks does is that you're actually buying a part of a company. You're not involved in direct running of the business.
Company, yeah. All right, so I want these technical words, this terminology
broken
down to layman's understanding, because the essence of the video is to, enlighten someone who doesn't have to be an economist or, an expert to understand this. Now, I want to ask you a simple question. Would you rather invest in a stable economy or unstable economy?
Oh no, the Nigerian economy is all.
I've not asked you if it's. I've not asked whether Nigeria economy. Would you rather invest in a stable economy or unstable economy?
Well, I'll do both. No, but I would even go. I'll do both, but I actually go for the one that offers me a greater returns at the moment.
Okay, Mr. Asho, if you have £10,000,
yes,
where would you invest it in?
I'll invest it in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
If I'm not doing stocks, I'll do treasury bills. If you're not doing treasury bills, then I advise you to go into real estate. But I absolutely think if Nigeria offers a lot more returns at the moment. I give you an example. Interest rate is a lot more higher, so you're actually likely to make more from the Nigerian economy, and that's actually why you see foreigners. They're actually investing in Nigeria, and that's what I was calling the FPIs the other time. That's a foreign portfolio investment. Nigerian stocks has gone from, at the time I was at the exchange. Nigerian stocks the market capitalization has gone from about 35 trillion to about 100 trillion. And guess what? The reason why the naira to the dollar, naira to the pounds is a lot more stable is because of what you call those portfolio investments. A lot of people are actually investing in the stocks in Nigeria. So those are foreigners who are seeing those opportunities and they're actually investing in it because it's bringing them higher returns.
So if people are investing in Nigerian stock,
yes,
why is the pounds now higher than the naira?
Well, I mean, it takes time. It takes time, and I can explain. It
so
takes time.
Are you saying that it takes time for Nigeria naira to meet up with the pounds?
No, but the naira has been gaining. The naira has been gaining. If you've
has been gaining what?
Naira has been gaining. Naira gained about 400 naira to pounds over the last couple of days. I'm sure.
So are we meant to be celebrating this?
Well, I mean, but I mean, as an immigrant living in the UK, well, I mean, you may not, but it's actually good. It's good for the economy. It's actually good for the economy. It's good for people who are in Nigeria and who actually wants to do business.
So what exactly are the metrics? What exactly are the things making this thing not to balance up?
Okay, so it's a mix of different things, right? It's not something that you just pluck in the air and you say, oh, I want £1 to be $1 today. But fundamentally, we've been able to go through what you call the reform. So there's what you call standard reform package, which Nigeria is actually undergoing at the moment, right? Which of course is in the form of removing subsidies and redirecting them to high growth sectors. Now, over time, the next phase is what you call, the growth phase, right? Nigeria needs to get growth. And how do you get growth? You need to be a lot more productive. We need productivity. But how do you achieve productivity? You'll be talking about the enablers and the drivers of the economy, right? And the drivers of the economy would, you're looking at investing in railroad, energy. These things are actually going to take time. But if we can actually improve our productivity, then we're able to get our exports up. Government is able to make more money. And over time, when you reduce the pressure is that before now, what you had was that there was a lot of pressure. There was very little dollar in the economy, very little foreign exchange in the economy. And there was a lot of people were scampering for it. But now, there's what you call liquidity. Like people are sending, and that's why you have remittances. Remittances was in the region of about $20 billion in 2025. People are really, really, a lot of Nigerians who are outside the country are really sending money back home. And the more money they send, remittances, which is one of the sources of foreign exchange, the more the economy is liquid, the more there's less pressure on demand for foreign exchange. And, and over time, you're building your foreign reserves. You're likely to get the economy will continue to grow. And that's how the Naira will continue to
I
appreciate.
want to ask you a simple question.
Yes.
I mean, you speak so well of Nigeria. Why did you leave Nigeria in the first place?
Oh, I mean, of course.
I mean, the way you speak about Nigeria.
I did come. I personally came, of course, we are both alumni of the same school. But I did, in fact, come from a master's at the time. But I'll say we shouldn't make it about me. Why do I think a lot of people? Why do I think a lot of people left? Right? I think people left. A lot of people left. In fact, in search of they left in search of what I call prosperity and opportunities. Right? And that's that. And that's essentially what drives migration. People want opportunities. People want reward for their hard work.
Let's not speak for people. Let's speak for you.
Yes,
you can speak for yourself. I mean, don't speak for people. Why did you leave Nigeria? If Nigeria was this, the way you are speaking about it, like
as you're well aware, so I came from a master's.
From master's. So which after your master's you're going back?
Well, that question is better not answered on camera. But what I do, but the point is, I continue to maintain a very strong affinity to Nigeria, and I continue to make my impact directly and indirectly.
Fly to Europe this summer without breaking the bank. With Lenfa, you could win £300 flight voucher. All you need to do is make a transfer of £500 once a month in 3 consecutive months, and you are in. Simple transfer, real rewards. Your next trip will be on us. Offer values from April 7th to July 7th. Good luck.
Do you plan of getting a mortgage in the UK?
I'd encourage.
Would you rather do a mortgage in the UK or buy your house in Nigeria?
I'll do Nigeria.
Why?
Because if you ask me, it provides long term. I'd say I would encourage people.
I think you were very vocal.
Long term. I'd encourage people to do it. So don't
you encourage people to buy house in Nigeria
first.
Wait, what do you mean first?
Thinking, yeah.
This is where you.
You can, right?
But you live in the UK.
You live in the UK.
Would you rather do mortgage, buy your mortgage in the UK,
right,
or buy a house in Nigeria where you don't live?
I'd say buy a house in Nigeria first,
where you don't live,
as a priority. Yes.
Why?
Because home is always going to be home, and don't also forget, there's also a point that I've been missing out in all of this conversation. It is that you've had a rise in right wing ultra right wing nationalism over time. So you've had more countries are actually closing up. You've had in terms of trade protectionist, in terms of immigration, people are going harder and harder on on migration. More countries are not friendly to migration, and you're actually also seeing that pattern even in the UK and in other parts of the world. You look at America today. President Donald Trump actually referred to immigrants as aliens. You hear him call them that, and you actually have political parties, a lot more political parties. So you're having what you call far right political parties, that the only thing those political parties set up for, their central agenda is actually anti-immigration, and they are becoming more popular by the day, right? And you have a situation of a political party in the UK which is called Reform. It's actually an anti-immigration political party. And guess what? This before now, what you've had two major political parties, Conservatives and the Labour. But I tell you what, when you look at the polls today, Reform is actually doing far better than two of the conventional political parties. And why is that? Because there's an anti-immigration sentiment all over the world at the moment, right? Even in the UK, the UK is not far different. So more countries are actually closing up. So I mean, you really cannot. You can't predict what the next 4 or 5 years is going to be, because, and my prediction is that is likely to actually get worse. You're likely to see more right wing rhetoric over time, and so it is. I would advise people not to throw home away. I know people want to shut out, but I would say don't shut out completely.
Because I mean, when you mentioned the tougher, immigration rules, I was about to ask you, what would you advise people to do? Now, you're advising Nigerians in the diaspora.
Yes.
What would you advise Nigeria government itself to do?
Oh, well, I mean, I think, like I did start by saying government is actually on the right track.
The government is on the right track.
Yeah, you have to consolidate the reforms. You have to consolidate those
Wait,
reforms.
Can you tell me 3 things the government is doing right?
Yeah, you started by stabilizing the foreign exchange. Yes, you've got to stabilize the foreign exchange. One, government has to stabilize the foreign exchange. Subsidies have been
You think
removed
subsidies is a good thing?
No, removing subsidies are bad. Subsidies are bad for the economy. I've said that again. I'm going to say it
So
again.
you think the UK government are not subsidizing things?
Oh, they are not subsidizing fuel. They are not subsidizing energy. You don't find countries that are subsidizing energy. You can't. And that's because don't forget that resources for government is always going to be limited. So government has got to prioritize. You have got to prioritize what you call your human capital, right? You got what you call human capital and physical capital. You have to prioritize. You have to redirect.
Do you believe that one of the major issues we have, is corruption? Do you believe that?
Oh, well, I mean, I think yes, corruption does exist.
Do you think all these things you are saying would work with corruption still being a major problem?
No, I think what you need are stronger systems and institutions.
Can there be any stronger institution where corruption is the foundation of that institution?
No, I wouldn't say corruption is foundation, because I think there's still
corruption is foundation.
I think there are still good people, right? I do think there are still good people, but what I do think is that
do these good people make it to the government?
If you focus on delivering prosperity, for me, if you ask me, right, I would say focus on delivering prosperity to people, give them opportunities, like more people have opportunities, right? Open up the economy for people. When you do that, you are likely to discount for corruption over time. And the more people have disposable income, people don't have incentive to want to be corrupt. All right. So I would actually say our priority right now is how to deliver prosperity to the Nigerian people. And I think that's what I would do.
Do you think the UK government is doing anything right at all?
Yeah, I think so. I think
so.
So.
What do you think?
I think the work of government is hard. I always say that the work of government is hard all over the world.
What do you think? What do you think the Nigerian government should learn from the UK government?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say the Nigerian government. What I think Nigeria per se can learn from Nigerian government. The first thing I've always said, we have to get emergency services. Is the UK has one of the best models.
How do you expect the emergency service to work with corruption? Everyone heading that office.
No, I think it's about systems. When you create systems, right?
Can a system work with corrupt people?
Yes, and that's why you have technology. You got to introduce technology. When you have a system where people don't have to handle cash, where everything is paid, by directly to government account, so people don't have to handle
people are
cash.
going to be in charge of these technologies.
Well, not directly, and that's why you have AI, right? AI. Don't forget AI. AI is actually we have.
Do you know about the beavers? The beavers for the election.
Yes.
Are there not people in charge of it? Why are people against it?
No, people are not against. I don't think people are against it.
I'm not saying the people. I mean, the people in the government,
I don't think they're against
they're
it.
not against it.
No, I don't think.
Are you
No. The conversation.
what's happening in Nigeria?
What you are saying. You're talking about electronic transmission of results. I mean, I also. In fact, I was one of. I did actually, in fact, fight, for us to have.
So the people fighting
mainstream
against it, are they not the ones in charge of?
No, I think what you have is that they've made provision for situations where if you are not able to transfer, you are not able to transmit results electronically, then they've given whoever is in charge the discretion to be able to move.
The reason why we're having this conversation is
Yes.
that you are trying to convince
Yes,
Nigerians in diaspora
absolutely. Not
to
to give up,
invest,
not just to invest, but also not to give up on the country.
not to give up on it.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I brought you here
To invest.
to convince them that
Yes.
they should
Yeah,
invest.
yes.
And that is why we have
And-
been having this conversation. Just to,
Yes.
I mean, to defend what you're saying, that yeah, you should invest in Nigeria.
Yes.
Even though my conviction is still like, you know, like, because
Your conviction.
Because-
But come to think of it, when, for example, we're talking about treasury bills, right? You're
so
not,
now, the last minute, I want you to tell us specifically, if the Nigerians are to invest back home, what should they invest in?
I've given you three. I think I started by saying stocks,
Mhm.
right? Stocks most stocks are actually doing really good at the moment, right? So and you invest in Nigerian stock exchange, and so you have different. You can look at some of the top performing companies, right? I don't want to call them, so I don't give them adverts, right? So you look at some of the top performers and invest in them, and don't also forget that the refinery is actually likely to be listed in 4 or 5 months. So I would actually encourage Nigerians to take huge advantage of it, because the refinery is likely to be dual listed. It's likely to be listed on London Stock Exchange and on the Nigerian Exchange. So I'll say stocks. One, I would say money market instrument like treasury bills, right? I would actually enjoy it, because the thing about some of these investments is that the more money you're able to put into it, and the more what you call tenor, right? How long it stays, the more money you're likely to make in terms of interest, and in terms of for stocks, you're likely to make dividends. And the third one, I'd say, you should take real estate is also seriously.
Well, they're going to quote you.
Yes, please.
Nigerians are going to quote you if they invest in these things, and they're going to quote you.
Right. Well, but
Because-
they're not giving me the money.
They're not, but you are the one advising them to.
Yes, I do. I do.
Because,
And I stand
because
by my word.
I think it's just
Because
commonsensical that
come to think of it,
Mhm.
multilateral institutions are, and a lot of multilateral institutions have actually given they passed a vote of confidence on the direction of the Nigerian economy. And I'm not saying it is where it should be, but I think, and I'm absolutely convinced that it's actually on track. I think it is where it should be headed. It should be headed, which is fixing the fundamentals, right? And now, after you fix the fundamentals, what you build on it now matters. And I'm not speaking for what happens, but I think in terms of where it is headed at the moment, and based on my understanding of how economies work, I think which is essentially, and this is what, and in a nutshell, because I know we have a few minutes to go. In a nutshell, this is what is essentially trying to achieve. What you have is that you're moving the economy from a deeply socialist economy to what you describe as a free market, right? Now, where this is guided by the fundamentals of demand and supply. And when you have an economy that is, that when you have a free market economy, what you have is that the economy is a lot more stable, because you don't have to fix anything, you don't have to do voodoo. You're leaving it to mark demand and supply to actually dictate the pace of that economy. And when you have that economy, it's a lot more stable. It's going to be efficient. And that efficiency, and don't forget, because when it is more efficient, it is liquid, which is that there's more foreign exchange. People can bring in their money. You can take in your money. You can take your money and bring it out. Don't forget that for a long time, airlines couldn't get their money out of the economy. A lot of companies had to leave. But now you don't have to do that, because when you put your money into the economy, you're likely to be able to get it. You're likely to be able to get it back, because it's more liquid.
Do you think the insecurity in Nigeria has a role to play? Do you think it's one of the reasons why people are scared?
Well, I mean,
okay, I'm going to allow you to answer that more like concluding.
Yeah.
Okay, make your conclusion and use that.
No, I think government actually understands that Nigeria's got to go further and faster on stamping out insecurity. It's not something to play politics with or to play politics about. But I also think this is a time for all of us to come together, irrespective of what we think or how we feel about the country. and to be united.
Come
I-
together and
And
fight in
no, no, no,
cigarettes.
no. And this is what I'm saying. You
Mhm.
see, and I mean, we are both here in the UK. You see that there are times when some things are beyond partisanship, like when even politicians in the UK, they come together when you have like a shooting or you have an attack, people beyond what they think, everybody comes together, they're united in grief. And I think what is happening in the country currently is one of those times when we must all come together beyond what we think, beyond our feelings, or however what we think about it. The country is not the person in government, right? And insecurity is something that we all should come together and be united against.
Mr. Sheung, okay. You've been trying to convince me to invest in
Yes,
Nigeria.
yeah,
That's why you're here.
I absolutely think people should invest back home.
Yeah, I mean, people have to judge. They've listened to you. You're giving them reasons why they should invest in the Nigerian economy. I mean, I would have said I live here in the UK. I pay my taxes here in the UK. I mean, I know I can really say this is what my money is being used for.
Yes,
But if you have other reasons and they are convincing, people will judge by themselves.
of course,
And they are feel free to. We can also feel free to quote you
Yeah.
when they invest their money, and they will say it's Faloh frequency. We'll say it's Sheung that asks to invest in them. But I mean, thank you for coming.
It was
on the show.
nice.
We really appreciate
nice to have a great session.
your words, and I
Nice.
think they are they're from a place of experience.
Yeah,
and
thank you for having me.
and deep research. Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you
coming.
for having me.
All right, guys, thank you for watching this episode of the Faloh Frequency, where Mr. Sheung has been, advising, admonishing for Nigerian economy. He said we should invest in the Nigerian economy now. Take his word for it. So, thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and don't forget to subscribe to the Faloh Frequency. Thank you very much for watching this one.